people are just like, once they fall in love with the people in those videos, they're like, number one, I want to work here. Are you guys hiring? What do you guys do? What do you guys sell? Then they go down the rabbit hole and find out that we sell pet food. So they're just going to click into the profile. And people in the order comment section or our post-purchase survey are finding us through TikTok now. So that is the human connection piece, that once you can connect with humans, no matter what they do, you'll always sort of gravitate towards what they do. And
people want to buy when they have a connection with a brand. You're giving them that.
That's our form of storytelling, is in a humor behind the scenes office setting, and we're telling the story of how every single day is at office and warehouse setting, and then that in return makes people fall in love with the people behind the brand, and then they look at the brand, right? A lot of people push brand first, people second, or people never. So product is always pushed first, but when you start to develop that human connection through storytelling, everyone has a pathway. It's just finding out what pathway is best that suits you.
People overthink what it is. You would never think that would move revenue for anyone. It was more like directed with Curran and the way you guys showcase products, but it has such great value, unintentional from a sales standpoint, but intentional from a brandability standpoint.
So I went to get contacts. Every year you get them, and normally what I do is insurance will only cover 6 months, so I buy 6 months, and I take my prescription and I go online and I get it for a fraction of the price, the exact same product. And they were like, "Oh, well, there's a $250 rebate." I'm like, "Oh, cool." They're like, "Yeah, you just scan this QR code after you buy." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, then it actually ends up being the same price. This is easier. I don't have to add it to my to-do list and buy the contacts online later and get them all at once and just be done with it." Then I get home and I scan the QR code, and it's Johnson & Johnson. It's AccuView. And it's like,
I wear those.
Yeah, it's like, great. Register here. Register. It's like, okay, when you receive the contacts, scan the UPC symbols. So I had to then wait a week for them to get there, go through the process again, scan them all. It's like, great, now scan a copy of the receipt. Say, okay. And then I completed it and I thought I was done. It's like, great, now get an envelope, send us the original receipt, write this on the receipt. And I had to print stuff out.
What?
I'm just complaining.
Yeah.
And then, but they're going to then, in 6 to 8 weeks, send me a $250 MasterCard debit card.
Oh, God.
Which means I'm not even going to be able to fully maximize it. It's just gift cards. It's the gift card scam.
It's like cashback and e-com. You know those cashback things?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a buddy that I think we all know him that had some success with it.
I hate it.
I don't like it.
I hate it.
I think it's bad. It's bad for the customer experience.
It's a very bad experience, and you were kind of talking about it, like making people jump through hoops.
Yeah.
Just to get that dollar.
And stuff like that, just you lose the value for that brand, and it actually costs you more money than this.
Yeah, it's just not a good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible.
Wow. Oh, with that, guys, good story. We'll talk more stories here about content marketing. Good one to start talking here.
It's okay.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the ASOM Pod, where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop. Amir from the agency and Jimmy from SAS. John has an Android, but give him a pass, cause he's an operator building brands like a carpenter. And that's Brian, he is the marketer. Like I said, this the ASOM Pod, where we talk a lot. E-com is the path that we walk a lot. From 4 point of views when we're talking shop.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the ASOM Pod, a show about perspective from the eyes of an agency, SaaS, operator, and marketer, focused on the D2C, e-commerce, and retail space. Going on in a room, I want to start off with a little introduction. John Roman, we've got the Android-loving survival king. What's up, dude? How are you?
Good, man. Miami.
Yeah?
I like this city more and more.
Better than Chicago?
I mean, Chicago, to be fair, I was on my deathbed.
Yeah, you were.
It wasn't Chicago's fault.
It wasn't Chicago's fault, so I feel like it didn't get a fair shake. You know, the pizza that we tried, you guys had to go and pick it up and bring it to us, so we didn't get that in-person experience. I didn't think it got a fair shake because I was sick. So
Okay. Well, we'll go back in the summer months that we're allowed, which is only April and March, or April and May, and then there's October.
What are the
There's only 3 months for something that is
Best months, March through October.
no, not the whole time.
October if the Cubs make the playoffs, because then we can go to a playoff.
That
You
would
talk about going on
that would be
Yeah,
that would
as long as you buy me
Wrigleyville's
because
electric.
and we're playing well, so
Yeah, Wrigleyville's awesome.
With that,
Are you a Cubs fan?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
of course, he's a Chicago fan. He loves everything Chicago. Big heart.
Even the murder rate.
Yeah. All right. With that, we're going to America. Grossidich,
False information.
Prince
news.
of Bosnia, Mayor of Chicago.
Best city in the world.
Yeah. What?
Best city in the world.
What's that?
Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah. Opinion, self-opinionated.
Facts.
Self-opinionated.
Facts.
Lover of Chicago. You feeling good about this pod?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
I love Miami too, but Chicago a little bit more.
And then we've got returning again for a second pod in a row here. We've got Brian McDonald, King of Meats. Hey, when did that get added back? Self-proclaimed funniest dude on LinkedIn.
Are you drinking a Corona?
Sure am, boys.
Yeah,
Sure am. It's 11:15.
It's 3 p.m. somewhere.
Yeah. 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
Buffett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in Europe.
True.
He drank in Chicago too. He was drinking wine.
Yeah, the
it's
wine.
all good.
You can never just leave booze around.
I bought it and he's drinking it. He's
Oh, I didn't know you bought.
Yeah, I bought
Corona.
it too.
Oh, okay.
For what he likes. Trying to
Oh.
make sure everyone gets
Oh.
what they need. Cool.
Yeah.
Lunch of champions.
Is that okay with you, John? I care about you guys.
You care? All right. And my name is Jimmy Kim. I'm the moderator, the brain, the man of the people, and the email dude here. And if you're listening to this pod and you want to continue to hear from us through the week, we've got this great newsletter at awesomepod.com. And secondly, we're starting to talk about Commerce Roundtable San Diego. 600 people, September 22nd, 23rd. It's going to be a beautiful venue on the water, literally on the water. You could fall off the deck and fall into the water kind of situation.
The venue is so sick.
It's a sick venue that we've put in. We're basically taking over a cruise terminal and making it a really cool cool environment. We got great speakers, great people. Tickets are on sale right now. Go check it out. All right, boys. We are talking about content marketing. The title of this pod today is Content Marketing in E-commerce, Storytelling That Sells. Because, well, we have all learned as different operators and marketers and different people here that it's really a storytelling that connects people, not just the ads or what the features or the product is. I talk about this a lot on social, that a good marketer just tells a story. And I think this is an art that's almost lost within this market a little bit. Too many people are there talking about all these features and benefits and all the things that their product's good for, but they lose out on the actual history of the product and you support and the reason why it's there, why they created it. And, if someone goes out there and says, 5 years ago, I had this problem and I, had to go figure it out on my own or my wife or whatever it might be. Those are the stories that humans connect with. It's authentic, it's real, and so forth. I want to start off by defining content marketing. I want to think about it this way. If you guys had to define content marketing in just like a sentence or two, Brian, I'll just kick it off with you, man. Like, how do you define it?
Yeah, it would be a creation of an asset, whether that's a video or photo, and then a vehicle of distribution to get that out, right? That to me is sort of content marketing, right?
Okay.
Creating something and then letting people see it.
When you think about content marketing, John, you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. Just an asset, whether it's image or video, that you're creating. It's
Okay.
content. It's marketing.
Anything out of that there,
Yeah.
man?
I would just add, kind of to echo what Brian said, but it has to be value driven. And value can come in forms of education, humor, whatever the case is, but it's a reflection of the brand and the value that the brand brings.
That's a good piece, the value piece.
Yeah, creating
Huge
narrative,
piece.
creating a human authentic experience, connecting your audience with your story to create a different reason why, right? Most people want to know the why behind a story, and storytelling is where it comes into place. It's also a great way to create relatable situations, right? When you're talking about things, people will always gravitate towards a relatable situation or a story that comes into place. So there's a lot of things that come into place. Now, looking at content marketing, and we talk about in the D2C and e-commerce landscape, why do you guys think it's so crucial? Like, why do you think it's crucial to this? Like, Brian, I'll start with you. Like, you rely on direct ads, discount codes, quick funnels, making money, making sales. But like, why do you think storytelling? Actually, you know where we go? We'll go to where you are really popular right now on TikTok with the office line.
Yeah.
Where literally you are not even selling any product on any of these things, but I guarantee and I know because I see in the comments, I just ordered a bulk box. I just ordered this. People are literally buying products with you not even talking about the product. Tell us about that, man.
Yeah. So we started, Nina started our social media and affiliate manager, started just realizing that our office is sort of not like most people's in regards to how we like interact and act within the office setting. So she's like, people were commenting on previous videos like, you guys remind us of The Office. Next thing you know, she starts a weekly series of just filming our daily interactions at the office and then posting them to TikTok as she does like her intro theme with the Office theme song. And then it goes into the video of us in the office. So the first few she posted like went super viral. I think one of them just surpassed 1 mil. I think in total they're at like 4 million views between all the 20 something episodes she's posted so far. But it's interesting because my TikTok philosophy was always like the Gen Z, sort of viewership. And then we looked at the analytics in terms of viewers for those Office episodes, and it's literally our ICP. I think I've sent you screenshots where it's like, 35 to like 50-year-old females is 92% of the viewers on these videos.
Which is your ICP.
Which is our ICP. So
go. Yo, listen up, let me put you on game. OmniSend's got the tools and everything that they claim. Email, SMS, yeah, it's all in one. E-com brands love it cause it gets work done. Yeah, 125K worldwide. Reviews so high, got them beaming with pride. And their stars are 4.8, no joke. Shopify back, so you know it's dope. Automation so slick, like a self-driving whip. Bring them back with a click, never losing the grip. Easy migration, yeah, that's no stress. Support so strong, got me feeling real blessed. No sneaky fees, no surprise in sight. Ain't calling it alignment just to raise the price. So if growth is the goal and sales on your mind, OmniSend's got the tools, now go get what's mine. Hit OmniSend.com today and watch your brand take off, okay? Oh yeah, and tell them Awesome sent you.
people are just like not even realizing that we sell pet food when they come across these videos. And then once they fall in love with the people in those videos, they're like, number one, I want to work here. Are you guys hiring? What do you guys do? What do you guys sell? Then they go down the rabbit hole and find out that we sell pet food. And 78% of the people in the United States either have a cat or a dog. So they're just going to click into the profile, and people in the order comment section or post-purchase survey are finding us through TikTok now. So that is the human connection piece that once you can connect with humans, no matter what they do, you'll always sort of gravitate towards what they do.
Yeah, people want to buy when they have a connection with a brand, and you're giving them that.
For sure. So yeah, that's for us. That's our form of storytelling, is in a humor, like behind the scenes office setting, and we're telling the story of how every single day is at our office and warehouse setting, and then that in return makes people fall in love with the people behind the brand, like you've mentioned, and then they look at the brand, right? A lot of people push brand first, people second, or people never. Yep. So product is always pushed first with the majority of brands, SaaS agencies, market, whatever the case may be. But when you start to develop that human connection through storytelling, like Amir said, it could be educational, inspirational, humor, comedy, all of that, no matter what pathway that you can go down, because everyone has a pathway. It's just finding out what pathway is best that suits you, right? So for Jimmy, it's education, right? It's email, it's SMS, it's his knowledge in the industry. For me, it's humor and comedy at Oma's, right? For you guys, it's entertainment. You have Kieran up there with product. It's more of, everyone has a direction they can go down. It's just a matter of choosing which one.
I have a couple questions about this series, because I've watched it. I'm not an Office show guy at all, but I appreciate the content. I've seen The Office before. I know the characters. Yeah. Question one is, was that a trend on TikTok that Nina saw and was like, I'm going to replicate that, then she just grew it bigger? Or was it purely just...
No, she just saw like a random like car dealership did one.
Yeah.
And I think that they just did like one random video on it.
Yeah.
And it went like sort of viral. No one else did it.
So it wasn't trending. She saw a trend.
She was like, wow, like if they like that video they did blew up, we have way crazier characters here.
We're a better fit for this.
Let's try it. And then after that, first, second, third, fourth one, it's like, wow, these are popping off. So now they just become a regular part of her routine.
And I think that's so, for anybody listening, like when you find something that works, it's so key. Time is of the essence. You need to lean in then, like she's done.
The one thing I want to point out, though, which was, I think, an easier transition for them, you used to, or still do, the videos where Adam tries an energy drink, or where you guys stretches while you guys are meeting and drawing plans on the floor and stuff like that.
They're very inspirational stretch.
So there's some, but it's like one of these things. Like you guys were already kind of like a reflection of that, but then you put yourself in this box and associate it with something that is within your ICP, and then that connection.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
we just restructured the way in which it was put together. Right? That's a good point. So because we're already doing all that.
Okay,
stuff.
So other question is, I'm assuming Nina cross-posted similar or identical videos on the other social platforms.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook.
Any momentum over there?
On Instagram, a few of them. The other ones, not so much, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was kind of strange. I think also though is what I found is doing more digging. These are like 3 to 5 minute videos, right? These aren't reels. I'm seeing a bigger cross relevance in regards to the algorithm picking up 30 to 60 second reels on TikTok that go viral, and then Instagram because they share the same user.
Sure.
The same consumer. When you're watching a 4 to 5, 6 minute video on TikTok, that same user doesn't translate to Instagram.
Right.
It's kind of funky how TikTok now has become more of a long form.
It's TikTok doing it, right?
Yeah.
The algorithm, just like, we've talked about TikTok Shop and how they treat the influencer content like 10x weight versus the brand's organic content. I think it's the same thing because they did that push and they want to have more screen time from everybody and they allowed longer videos. I think the algorithm is treating a 3 or 4 minute video that's good content slightly higher than a 30 or 60 second.
Yeah, no, it's true. So I mean, on that side of it, Jimmy, I would say that's a huge piece of our storytelling. And like for us to go to paid and try to get, 4 million views on paid, I mean, how much money that would cost. Now, granted, those paid are going toward towards either a brand evergreen or a product based, situation. But I think the leads that we're getting from these organic videos are way more valuable because we now have like someone that is a friend now. And when you have someone that's like a friend on social media, it's way more powerful than a customer that purchases one time through an ad.
So one last thing, this is a rabbit hole we don't want to go down, but it's something that I want to discuss with you later is, so boosting posts on TikTok. What's wild is I can take a Battle Box post that has 1 million views organically and a Battle Box organic post that has 10,000. And I could put, to round numbers, $100 of boost on both. The one that has the 1 million organic is going to outperform on that $100.
Oh, yeah.
I might get 50, 60 times more views because of it. I say all of that to say I wonder if
take our top couple and
and just boost them, even though they're not selling at all, and it's purely just random.
Like I said, throw $100 and test it
because you're seeing sales already. I wonder if those are scalable ads because of the approach.
That works on other platforms already. I do that methodology already on even on the B2B side on X and LinkedIn. If you see, and I always say, if you can get it to go organic, dude, you pump ads on it, it'll pump off on paid. It's just a very...
Because they already know the platform.
It already respects it as
it's
good.
not even only respecting. We know at an organic level, which is the harder level, that it's already popping off. So why wouldn't it work if you pro paid on it? Because it's going to connect with the audience.
True.
The problem with most paid is that they never tested that on the organic level.
Right.
And that's so part of the thing.
Chubbies, that was a lot of their secret sauce.
That's
talking
part of the
to them.
secret sauce of good boosting. And that's how you leverage... Where you know when you like go on advertising, there's like conversion, there's like impressions, all that. That's how you leverage impression ads, view ads, right? Where you're just trying to create mass impressions. When you have a good base organic post and then you're pushing on it, it actually works really well.
Yeah, that's a great
point. I do this all the time with things, and I don't spend a lot of dollars on it, but the impressions are valuable because
it's just smarter dollars you're spending.
And if you can get it picked up in the right place, you can help it go viral essentially.
Yeah. It seems small, but that's a great takeaway for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Huge.
There's a lot to it. All right. With that same thought process, I'm going to jump over to John. I think, obviously, when I watch the videos occurring and I watch these Battle Box talks come up and like all these different companies coming up, he does a better job talking about, he has a product that he's trying to promote often, but it's not promoting it through the product. What he's doing a lot of the times is like demonstrable, right?
Yeah.
He's showing off something. He's talking about a problem. He's talking about a solution. His storytelling is like almost like your friend telling you about like, I've got this really cool new product and I'm like doing this and that. Like, how do you guys think about your strategy when you think about content marketing?
So, you know, in the beginning of this episode, we were talking about how it's becoming more and more important. I think part of our success in general is that we always prioritize this. It was always a part of our strategy. So it's key. It's, you know, I think Brian's example is just as good, if not a better one. It's the way people ingest content. People don't want to be sold to. There comes a time in the funnel where an ad with a strong CTA, it works, right?
Sure.
But for a lot of products, that's not the top of funnel anymore. I think it's more middle end of funnel. So I think it's paramount. The good news is we started doing it so early that we have a decent moat with it. And we know our little niche.
Yeah.
But it's key now. The reality is though, we were complaining last night, Jimmy, about how long SEO takes, right?
Yeah.
Like the organic content play and the content marketing play, if done correctly and done in a scalable manner, takes longer.
Forever.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
And so many people that have gotten the success by just spinning up ads real quick and landing pages and lead magnets and go, they don't have the patience, which is good. If you're smart and you have the patience, there's still opportunity.
But it's not just patience; it's the ability to tell that story too, and actually curate a good angle, right?
No,
I
you're
feel
right.
like part of ads is people are lazy. They're just like, I'm just going to throw ads, force them in front of people, and I don't have to tell a story behind it. But if they would actually tell the story behind it, I believe that these ads would do better.
Yeah, if they tell the story, then they can be a member of the small CAC club,
Yeah.
like my shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pop up, it's Alia, driving down the lane. From Nike to Plunge, they're running the game. 900 brands, yeah, they know the name. Support so fire, puts others to shame. Real A/B tests with insights to match. Fast load times like a lightning patch. Book a demo now and don't miss the deal. Get 30 days free and a 20% steal. Big shout out to Alia, an app that is revolutionizing how brands turn website visitors into loyal customers. With some of the highest performing pop-ups in e-com, Alia is helping brands ditch traditional web forms and double down on education, personalization, and conversion. We highly recommend you check out Alia at alialearn.com today and let them know Awesome sent you.
All right.
Typo on that shirt.
And Mayor, from an agency view, right?
It's a typo.
Obviously, you're seeing more people talk about content, long-term brand building. This is probably becoming a bigger topic for people. How have you seen this as a big piece of the pie?
I think so. Kind of like what you said with the patience and everything. I think a lot of brands sometimes make a mistake. Ads give you instant results. Obviously, when done right, you know, if you focus on ROAS, money's coming and going out and vice versa. But they're always focused, and when I say channel, I'm talking about paid media. At the same time, you should be doing content and building it up as you are sustaining your business. But I think a lot of brands, when I speak to them, they feel it's like one or the other. Well, we can do that right now because we need sales. And they're not diversifying that. And so like the way I see it is we have brands that kind of fit into three categories. One are the doers, one are the thinkers, and one are that don't see the value in it. The doers, you guys do it well. Brian, you guys have been doing it. We don't mention it. We're actually following them and seeing the fun stuff that they're doing and things like that. The thinkers, when I get on the phone and I bring this up to them, it's like, hey, you guys got a great product. You guys have a charismatic team. Can you know, are you guys willing to do it? Let's try to get creative with it. It's always in that like to-do swim lane on their boards, and they never prioritize it. And then we have brands we bring it up and they just don't see the value in it. They just want to pump ads, and that's all they care about. I think it's like something, Jimmy, you've spoken to me about, and on the agency side, I struggle with it, is people overthink what it is. The Office, you would never think that would move revenue for anyone. What you guys are doing, I think it was more like directed with Karen and the way you guys showcase products, but it has such great value, and it's unintentional from a sales standpoint, but intentional from a brandability standpoint. So I think it's just brands kind of get confused, and I am in that channel too sometimes, overthinking or over worrying. What are people going to say?
So when you were categorizing brands, you put a bucket of brands that you said that don't see the value.
Yeah.
You think that's a big bucket that don't see the value?
Majority.
They just don't see the value. It's not. I
In
don't have the reason.
organic specifically.
Organic specifically, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Organic
the
com-
reason why he's saying that don't see the value. Okay, if you take a person, right, and
Yeah.
you look at it and say, if I put $1 in and I can turn $1.05 back, right, in paid ads, that makes sense to them on a financial mindset, right? Pretend you're your CFO, right?
Yeah.
But if I told you, John, if you put $1 in today, you might see $1.05 or might see no cents back out of this project.
A couple months later.
Yeah, people can't correlate and connect it. It's been my problem that I have when I talk to people, especially financially driven people.
Yeah.
They can't see it because they're like, what do you mean you're going to go on social media? What do you mean you create impressions on media? And how does that translate to dollars and cents? What's my CPM? What's my CAC? What's my this and that? And you're like, well, it's really hard.
It's hard to
the
measure.
ROI of social media.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell you the ROI of organic traffic.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not.
No.
I'll use the
fair
pod.
point.
I'll use the pod as an example for me.
Okay.
When I started, my first question was, what am I sacrificing? How much time is going to take and how much is going to cost us? Now, obviously, we created a business out of it and structured it and everything like that. But in my head, and this is actually talking to you guys, I put a time frame in my head. I'm going to give this spot 24 months to see what happens with it, because you guys were constantly preaching like, this is going to take time to really get going, get traction and everything. To Jimmy's point, when I talk to operators, whether they have CFOs or not, it's like, well, I'm going to put all this time, and what if it doesn't work?
Correct.
The question is, what if it does?
Oh,
No,
that's always the thing.
I think it's spot on. It's a good call.
But it's also hard too. Like if you go to your like favorite well-known household name brands and you go on their social media, the organic sucks.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Sometimes.
Wendy's is great. But for the most part, like 99% of them suck. Like there's restaurants down the street from your house that have better social than Nike. Right. Like, and I'm just saying that from an organic standpoint, because a lot of them are also VC funded. Right. They're like, to Jimmy's point, they're not going to be like, hey, I have to hire 3 offshore editors, to a social media manager, and a social media assistant, and that's going to cost us, $120,000 a year, and then that's going to output this amount of content. And the only output you can prove to the people that are deploying capital to you is how much output that you have through the organic, not how much.
Dude, let me tell you, when I stood in front of my board at my last company and I said, what's your growth story? We're going to post on social media and lean into the community.
They've talked about it.
And they were like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Who would actually make any movement around this? Why would you think that you were going to be able to do this? What team and what do you mean you want to spend dollars on content writers, or you want to spend dollars on video editors and you have no direct ROI impact? That's not demand generation. That's exactly what they said. That's not demand generation.
But you could literally look at the funnel you were building
but
from
they
it.
couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
But look at it from this perspective, and you correct me if I'm wrong here. You get thousands of impressions per day.
Yes.
With your LinkedIn post only. Let's just focus on that. If you were to run ads on LinkedIn to get the same amount of impressions, that would probably be hundreds of dollars a day.
Knowing a CPM is typically $20 to $30 in what's that called, B2B, right?
Yeah.
Up to $100 in CPM, depending on how niched you are. That's how expensive B2B is. It's not a consumer, right? It's really hard.
Okay.
It's niche stuff. I am getting the same equal distribution to spending thousands of dollars a month, $1,000 a day on it for free.
Yeah.
And I'm hitting my target audience. I'm, curating a story. I'm curating the narrative, and people come to me, and I get so much activity because of this.
Yeah.
And it's not something people can understand. But again, I go back to the early days when I first went back online and started to do this. And, I was fortunate enough to have created this whole content community thing back in 2015. So I knew what the playbook was, right? And I repeated a modern day version of that playbook. But when you start off, you get very little to no results.
Yeah.
So right now you're burning time, burning money, burning efforts. And it's really hard for people who don't get it, okay, 2 things. They don't get marketing, right? That's the whole holistic part. They don't get marketing. They think marketing is a data financial output. It is not. It's a creative and a thing that fails a lot, right? And the second thing they want to see the data behind it, and they want to be able to directly correlate ROI.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
So difficult.
Even when we were pumping and it was finally working and people were starting to see data, even my departments would struggle to attribute the actual core cause of why it was happening. Oh, well, they came to the blog. Oh, they got a PDF from us, that's the attribution.
That
No,
got
it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
PDF wasn't because of that. They downloaded PDF because they had seen the storytelling that I was doing in the market, and they were able to go look at that and say, oh, I should go check out their website. Even though it showed up as organic traffic or direct traffic, it wasn't direct traffic. It was because they saw something happen and occur.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
I picked you guys the other day that I got my first lead from LinkedIn in my post, reference to my post, hey, I like what you're talking about. Can we talk? And I looked at from the time I started posting consistently and everything. And I think I looked at it as $50 CPM. And it's on par with what we're paying Google to run ads, but it costs me nothing virtually.
Yeah, it just costs you time and energy, right? Like that's the thing. But obviously time is invaluable in the way that you think about things.
Yeah.
But you're right. And it's consistency. The more you do it, the bigger it gets, the bigger it gets, the bigger it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my thing in my mind is like, how the hell do I scale this 5, 6, 7x? So I'm not getting one lead a month. I'm getting.
That's the problem. People think like that. But here's the thing. Here's the answer for you, Amer. You can't. You just continue doing what
But that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's time. Time is the scale.
Well, what I've learned is the way to do it is to never stop.
Yes.
That's the thing.
That's
Never
truly the
stop,
answer.
never
It's
Like
stop.
before we started these pods, Jimmy's like, oh, I got to get all my posts out for.
Yeah, I got a post out like 2 minutes before we started to shoot this pod. Like I had to get a post out. I had to go, figure this out and all that stuff. It's just what you have to do and stay consistent. It's hard.
Here's the thing.
It's not.
I have a issue with that, and I just handed the responsibility to my marketing team, and I give them the post, and they schedule and do everything for me.
Yeah, well, I'm a OG guy. I don't.
I know.
On that. I literally post everything.
No, I know, but I'm saying there's like
True.
different ways to do it. You don't always have to put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. Oh well,
No.
but I personally believe when it's for me especially, right? It's it's a big content engine for me. It gets me consulting. It gets me I get a lot of leads between my two channels. I talk to some amazing people that I should not be in front of because of my social media.
Yeah.
Because they have a respect for me because they look at you as a thought leader, right?
Yeah.
You're building your side personal brand up in such a strong way.
And that's how you and I became friends.
Well, exactly. That's how this pod started.
Yeah.
It's
That's the reason I followed you.
Yeah, it's the reason because people are like that. It's the reason I think Adam might have turned you on me, right? Is that how it started? Yeah. Adam, his the fourth generation owner and operator of all this. I got to give that to Adam. Adam, if you're listening to this, I always like to call you out on it because I think it's hilarious. You say, just call yourself the. It's fine. Anyways, that's my rant. And one day we're going to have a good long conversation over a beer about that. You don't need to call yourself for we got it. Anyways, he probably turned you to say, hey, you should follow this guy. He seems to know what he's talking about. Adam, again, finance guy, probably didn't know much about what I'm talking about, but he knew that it's something relevant to the business. And it was strong enough where he saw the social proof and the people. And he said, hey, this dude seems to know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
You should go talk to him.
Yeah.
Or follow him.
You give people value daily.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things. It's really hard to track, but
Yeah.
I have an incredible track record and people are paying me and people are looking for me and I'm getting offerings and things like that.
I think that before we move on, the really quick thing, I think it's slowly going to shift. The more moments we see, like the Saratoga Springs water or the seltzer water, what that did for that brand. And now people are
There was a wasted opportunity on that thing. Saratoga didn't respond.
They didn't do anything.
They didn't do it.
Oh yeah, no.
That was the big thing about it is everyone was going off on the Saratoga stuff, right? And they literally were dead quiet on their social media when they were getting tagged left and right on Instagram, when they're getting tagged.
Their sales popped too, and
their sales.
There was just such
literally
a
a social media person just hitting repost would have helped viral spread that thing.
Yeah. But I don't mean it from that side of it. I mean from like the VC and funding side of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I think again we go back to that talk and statement. Like VCs want to see money in, money out as fast as possible. The idea that you're going to go spend 18 months on SEO or organic traffic sounds.
Yeah,
and I get it, right? And when you guys put money in, and you have to have that conceptualization inside to understand that. I think that's something that people struggle with
for sure.
All right. I want to go jump into this as we're talking about storytelling because I think that there's something that happens in this market. And I think the best storytellers have something in common. And I call it the hero's journey, a villain, essentially, right? I talked about it. I actually ranted about this on the newsletter recently, awesomepod.com. Check it out. And when you're looking at this stuff, I believe that everyone should have a villain, right? My villain is paid traffic, ultimately, right? I'm about that. What's your villain? We know your villain. I know your villain.
What do you think? It's Kip.
So I got a heated LinkedIn argument recently. What's your?
So I obviously read your rant and I couldn't articulate who our villain is. I think we're the exception of the rule. We don't have
your villain is people with white suits and white ties on.
No,
the professionals.
No,
I don't know. Maybe.
Dude,
You gotta have a villain.
We don't have one. I think we're the exception of the rule.
I don't know. There's no exception.
We need to decide. 52% of our customers make, I think, over
is your villain normal life? Is your villain?
No, I don't think we have one. I think our entire approach is there is no villain. We're going the normalization of preparedness. I think we're the exception of the rule.
Your villain is life. Like you're trying to get people prepared to survive.
For the villain.
Huh?
They're getting people prepared to face the villain.
Yes. That is right. Your villain is an unknown because it's the people ready to face the villain. You're getting prepared, right? Survival, right? Technically, survival.
Unknown villain.
You have an unknown villain, and you're actually preparing to instead do that.
He has multiple villains.
What are those villains?
So you sell adventure. Your villain is stagnation of people that don't want to be active, they want to get out. Preparedness. Your villain is actually people who are painting a perfect world picture and saying it will be fine, don't worry about anything, and they're buying into a false premise.
Okay.
I think you have multiple villains, but depending on your...
Kind of like Batman. Batman always had a bunch of villains.
Yeah, his villain was whoever was available at that time who was causing havoc in Gotham, right?
I mean Batman.
Yeah, you are. You're a villain. You're literally there to protect the people, and your villain is the people of the unknown. Like your villain is the unknown. Be ready.
Yeah.
All right. Time.
Yeah. Well, Batman.
I don't know.
What about you, Robbie?
For me,
set there.
For us, I think the biggest, I think we have two villains in our space. One is legacy thinking, people that don't want to take leaps with Shopify because we're all in on Shopify, people that they're in that section. But the other one is other agencies. And our biggest thing is when...
Is there a single agency that you have an extra villain on? You don't have to name it.
You don't know.
One you just want.
I have a lot of frenemies, agencies that we compete with.
But that means you got a villain. Who's the villain?
The villain for us is agencies who put a bad mark on agencies. My hardest sell is...
I almost said one.
Huh?
Say one? Like Meet 6?
No. Well, I don't know.
I'm just trying to think.
John, stop it.
For example,
I know what you're trying to do.
Since one of the first projects we sold to recent, we recently launched a website for a Notre Dame's publishing company, and their team was petrified to work with anyone because of multiple bad experiences they have with agencies where they don't respond, they don't jump, they don't support them. That's usually our biggest villains. Like, hey, how do we tell them and show them and prove to them we're not like other agencies?
So your villain is bad agencies.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd like to know a name, though, before the end of today. I know you have agencies you really don't like.
Name them.
Yeah, you name them after the pod.
Name it after your pod.
Yeah, we'll talk after.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah, start thinking of them.
All right. I want to switch gears here, and I asked you guys for homework.
Yep.
And I said, hey, bring some cool brand stories to the table. Like, I feel like there's a lot of great stories, and you guys have had some time to go spend some time understanding, like, who's great at this? Who can people, people always ask, who can I follow? Who can I learn from? I think that we can obviously learn from you guys, but who else can we learn from? I've got John here first. John, you got a story. Share.
So when I was reading through this, I had one brand that instantly came to mind. Brian, you and I have chatted about him. We've actually borrowed concepts that they do on the marketing side. A couple. Overnight Oats. So I'm not a customer of theirs. Not really my thing. But I can respect when I see someone doing content marketing correctly. So I made some notes. For one, their product content is very, very ridiculously clear. Whether you see an ad, whether you're just scrolling on your FYP or homepage, or you jump in their profile on Instagram or TikTok and start scrolling, it's 10 seconds on their feed and you get it, right? Easy to prep, unique flavors, hits a sweet spot where convenience meets creativity. So it's definitely super unique, but really where they take it to the next level is the human side. So they have a few different types of content. One of them, probably the one that's had the most virality, that they've been the most consistent on, that you see quite often, is the guy in the warehouse packing packing the 12
I've seen that.
SKUs.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about it. Ooh, they got cinnamon roll, or they got that. And watching those is the closest I've ever come. Actually, I've never purchased. I know you're a customer, but watching that human side of it, and we've replicated that, right? We've had Malcolm from our warehouse team packing boxes and packing orders and filming it and talking about it. I think that's a huge win. They've also had a lot of fun with bad reviews, which I think is an underutilized.
Yeah, they're leaning into customer feedback.
Yeah. So those sometimes they talk directly to the camera. It's raw, real. I think it builds trust. But I think the biggest key is now there's definitely, I've seen some of their ads where there's a strong CTA, and you could argue that is more middle funnel, end of funnel, not top of funnel. The majority of their content that I would put in the this is really good or great category, they are not selling. They're not saying buy today, ship free. They're literally just having fun, showcasing the product.
They nail content marketing because they're not selling, they're showing.
Yeah.
And they're letting the product sell itself through the story.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good story. I also don't like oats, so I probably would never buy it, but I do follow them, and I think they're great at
like I actually enjoy ingesting
I enjoy watching
content.
it, and when people talk to me about oats, I'm always like, hey, overnight oats, right?
Yeah.
And I'll still be the word of mouth echo for them, but I just won't be a customer just because my wife likes them.
But there's value in that,
100%.
right?
And they've overtaken Quaker, who's been around for so long.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
true.
pretty
Well,
wild.
when I think of oats, if I had to name two, I'm going to name Quaker, I'm going to name Overnight Oats, and that's wild that those are the two. One that's a staple and been around forever.
Yeah.
And the company that makes cool videos.
Yeah.
Amer, story?
Yeah, so I went with one that John's going to enjoy.
I've read this. I'm so pumped about it.
But I think we have to be honest, as much as I love the company and I use their products, Apple has abandoned storytelling. They are leaning so heavy into what their product is. It reminds me of what Microsoft kind of does. Like, hey, we know people are going to buy it. We know people are going to need it. And we're just going to keep selling it. The latest ads that you could argue storytelling is when they show you a clip on a commercial saying shot with iPhone camera XYZ. Realistically speaking, you're going to love this comment. Is the camera on a Samsung or a Pixel or an Apple iPhone that drastically different?
No, they're all very similar.
Yeah, they're very similar. We're talking about marginal differences. But outside of that, the last time they had a really good campaign and storytelling is when they acquired Beats, when they had the athletes on there and they were pushing Beats as just like a athletic leisure,
athletic lifestyle
item, and then that kind of died off and they put everything behind. One of the things that I was very proud of that they released recently, so if you have the Pros, they have this now device that you can turn hearing accessibility on. I'm hearing impaired, so it's like, oh my God, I can't believe they actually thought of that you can turn headphones into a device, a cheap device. The hearing aid that I have costs thousands of dollars. Now there's going to be less privileged individuals that they're enhancing their lives.
Did you just learn about this?
About
the hearing aid?
No, a while ago.
Okay, I was going to say it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been, but they never dug into that.
Yeah.
So like, you're enabling and enhancing lives of disadvantaged individuals.
That's something you think they would have leaned in on.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's an emotional story. And there's a lot more that can be done there with their products. And I think you just overlooked. And that human element, I think, is getting soaked by the product push instead of the story push.
At what point do you think you're going to switch over to a Samsung or Google device?
I don't know. I've entertained the Pixel.
Okay.
Yeah, I've entertained the Pixel.
But then you can't type messages. Can you type a text message back to a person through your computer? Mm-hmm. Oh, you can't.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So there's a Windows. So I use Windows.
Yeah.
You already lost me.
So there's a Windows. There's literally a piece of software that comes with Windows
Doesn't even
that connects the Android.
It's just
does your Android have to be connected to the computer?
No.
Oh.
Can you airdrop?
I AirDrop is an Apple thing. Can I upload stuff to the cloud?
Can we tap phones together and share contacts?
Yeah.
I can with Androids.
Yeah. Can you guys do anything like cool or?
Yeah, we can do all
Did
that.
you know that if you pinch the screens together, you can have a dual screen mode?
You ever use a Galaxy tablet?
Did you know that you can take?
You know,
God, I want
one of the things I'll say about all of this, right? We defend the brand because of brand equity. I wouldn't say that we're spying because of storytelling or whatever. It's years and decades of habits that have been built, years and decades of great experiences that allow us to trust through brand equity at this point. I don't think it's storytelling at all either. I don't think they're great at telling any story, and I think I think the creativity team, like, it frankly sucks when it comes to the good ad with Apple anymore.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they earn the spot that they're in now.
Yes.
I think the key will be they've got
And they
to start
maintain.
innovate,
Yeah.
or they won't maintain. They will lose market share.
The
and
one
eventually
thing-
they won't.
The one big reason I'm with Apple, and I think while I've have an issue switching to Samsung, every time I walked into an Apple store, when I had an issue with my product, hopefully with my cracked screen now too, they've always went above and beyond to take care
Yeah,
of me.
they'll help you out.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
fix it for you.
Yeah. I had literally somebody, my computer stopped working. I needed it for work, my laptop.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you guys have any loaners that I can take? They're like, unfortunately, no. But they're like, you know what we can do is like, we'll give you a brand new computer, buy it,
Yeah.
30 days to return, no questions asked. And you can use a brand new one. They opened up a brand new one for me and took it back 10 days
HQ
later.
won't like that.
And to be fair, I don't have that experience, right? So I'm very loyal. I've used Samsung Galaxies since maybe 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in there.
You're a pretty early adopter.
Yeah. So I went BlackBerry to the Samsung.
My
wife
You never
went-
got the experience, the joy of that.
Right. My wife went
Yeah.
BlackBerry to iPhone,
This is why.
but I had an iPod Touch,
Yeah.
which was the first
Is she an
iteration.
iPhone now today?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
No,
be like, whoa.
she's Galaxy.
Okay.
But I don't have that experience. If something breaks with my Samsung, I go to AT&T.
Oh,
Like
not
I
the
can't
Samsung.
go. Right.
Yeah.
You gotta go to like that kiosk at the mall that some guy like.
No, I don't. I go to an AT&T store.
Where they treat
fucking
you rough,
kiosk you're talking.
right? They treat you rough, right? Right, Ryan? They
Yeah,
treat you
I'm
rough?
not
Yeah,
buying a
yeah.
phone case.
Yeah. I don't know.
But they fix screens at the mall. Those little kiosks in the middle
Yeah.
mall.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can get your iPhone there too.
What do they call it? You
go-
fix, I break. You break, I fix, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of those. That was a big business for a while.
Yeah, they had retail brick and mortar.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump to Brian. Brian, tell us about a brand that you enjoy their content marketing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is going to be sort of I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called Moms on Call. So Moms on Call, have not heard of it. So we had our first kid. This was during COVID, 2020 of January, and at the time, my wife is a big routine person, and she wanted, both of us wanted like a routine set. We don't want to be like those parents, like, oh yeah, my kid's still up. It's like, Henry, it's 10:30.
Right.
Kids too,
Yeah.
So we don't want to be those parents, right? We wanted our time at night. Like we wanted everything to be sort of structured in a way. So one of her friends was like, you have to check out Moms on Call. And we didn't know about it at the time, but Moms on Call is 3 pediatric nurses and pediatric doctors that left their practice when they saw the shift in husband and wives now having to both have jobs in the household. So before, right, moms would be home 24/7, 365, doing laundry. Am I right? Cooking, cleaning, all that stuff. And right, some would say the good old days. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. However, that shift now with both parent working households, these nurses and doctors saw an opportunity to sort of take their experience in the pediatric side of things and create this 0 to 5, really it starts at newborn to 5 schedule, and then product offering that you can purchase and follow along with the schedule and structure of it. So, at 16 weeks old when Ava was born, now sleep training starts.
So you're following like a curriculum?
You're following nap times, feeding times. You're following bedtime routines. You're following sleep training. So Ava, my daughter, started sleeping through the night at 4 months old, like through the night.
Wow.
And they walk you through the whole process in regards to how to make that happen in regards to feeding times and nap times and how to get that set up. So that started like we told other friends, they told other friends. Next thing you know, I'm like researching them when I'm into the e-com game, and I'm like, dude, they're doing $15 million. This was back like 2 or 3 years ago. Then they started coming out with products, sound machines and all that stuff.
They have products now.
Yeah, but they do a really good job with those three co-founders essentially telling their story about how the country now, especially the United States, is transformed into a 2-parent working household. And that never used to be the case.
Yeah.
Right? The wife used to take all the load at home.
Yeah. Which to be fair is a full-time job.
Full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
Yeah.
But now with the cost of living and wages staying low, right, rising, people are both working.
Yeah.
So they saw an opportunity in the market where they can come in, share their experience, and sort of help new parents, set up their schedule. So that way, their kids can live the happiest, healthiest birth to 5 they do. And then, that's when the JMO and Ava both became 2. We have the clock in the room where it turns red at 7:30 p.m. And then it turns green at.
You showed me this.
I showed you that.
Yeah, that too.
So they have a partnership with them. So that's like it's not a Moms on Call product, but that's a part of their implementation and their schedule and program.
They're benefiting monetarily from.
So now that like their storytelling of how that helped shape their like at home life benefited us, and now I can't talk about it enough because from 8 o'clock essentially now the oldest after 8 o'clock I'm free. Meanwhile, my friends that don't get to get work done at night, like I have a couple hours every night because of.
Do most people not get to?
Yeah, a lot of people with toddlers, they'll let their kids stay up as late as they want.
Yeah, they're
it's
not
crazy.
good at schedule and structure.
Yeah. So it's a really cool story the way they took their expertise in their field and transformed it into a digital model.
Cool.
Really cool story.
John's taking notes because little Johnny's now slowly getting there. But there's one thing you got to remember: kids can't tell time, so you got to help them. That's what that clock thing does, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, when it's red, it's sleep time. When it's blue, you can get up.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm obviously not there now, and fortunate that he sleeps through the night every night.
Yeah. But just wait.
When
he gets
it's something I haven't had to deal with yet. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a new
real
experience when they roll out of bed at 4 a.m. and they're just like, oh, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
All right. With that, guys, great storytelling is worthless if nobody sees it. Platforms. What do you guys think about publishing? Okay, I want to make this a broad question because I think that there's SEO, there's social media, there's grassroots efforts. There's a lot of ways to kind of approach where you might take content and publishing. What do you guys think about right now? And what do you guys think about the future? Like, I'm going to kind of make it a twofold question. Like, what do you guys think about now, what's working? And what do you guys think about the future of where people should be investing? Because the content is a long-term game. So, when you're getting involved in a content channel, it's not going off and saying, I'm going to go TikTok right now. I'm going to start seeing results tomorrow. If you're super lucky, you might, but most likely you're probably not going to. But over the next 12, 18, 24 months, you will see that happen. What do you guys think about that? What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like initially starting like when I came over to OMAS, it was just like, hey, let's try a bunch of stuff out, right? And then Instagram started to pick up a little bit, so we focused a lot of energy on Instagram. And I think I asked you, John, last night. I'm like, you guys run any like YouTube ads? And then it got in the conversation of like BattleBox, their engine in regards to content and output and distribution is YouTube. But you really have to figure out where that energy and effort should go, but you can't really do that if you just decide right off the rip, like, I'm just going to stick to TikTok. It's like, well, did you try the other ones out? Because I didn't believe in TikTok, as you guys know, these earlier episodes 4, 5, 6 months ago.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, younger Gen Z, yada, yada, yada. Next thing you know, your mindset totally shifts when you're able to throw paint at multiple different walls. And then like John said, once you find the paint that sticks, you just keep throwing more paint at it. So I think it's a give and take of you have to be strategic. But to start, you have to just deploy across all channels that in all free distribution models. Cause you guys know, I like to preach this too, like free distribution will go away eventually. We have the ability now where Jimmy can post on X and LinkedIn for free. We can put out stuff on YouTube, but that model is going to go away.
It's going to evolve, right?
It's going to evolve. So it's, I think that's my biggest thing.
But with TikTok, the fastest growing demographic on TikTok right now is that 35 plus range, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, which is why you're finding that new success. It wasn't always there.
And what I'm finding is what's interesting about TikTok is since TikTok pushes products so much, right? That the user on, if you're spending now a majority of your time consuming content on TikTok, you already are in the platform as a consumer, where that sort of shifted because that platform now, all you see is stuff for sale. So if you can sort of get organic to work, people are already in that consumer mindset on TikTok, where in other platforms I'm noticing they aren't, because it's not, those platforms don't push product that's being sold all the time. So if you're spending a lot of time on a platform that just all they do is sell product and they're consuming your organic on that, it's like they're already in the mindset of purchasing.
I mean, they've got a whole feed just for live selling going on.
Yeah.
You can literally scroll live selling all day long if you want to, which is kind of crazy. What about you, John? Same question to you. What would you be telling people they should be investing in today and into the future if they're starting content marketing or they want to get involved in it?
Yeah, whether it's B2B, and the two obvious pillars are going to be LinkedIn and X. Over to the consumer side, where it's going to be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I think we were talking about earlier about Nina's content rollout with the Office trend, and how it performed better on TikTok. The reality is, you made that content though. And yes, it might be performing better on TikTok, and you might get 100,000 views on average for it on TikTok, and it might only get 3,000 on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or insert whatever, but it's still 3,000.
Yeah.
And you still made that content.
Sure.
So I think you're doing yourself a disservice. Yeah, it might not be the banger on the other channel, but you still got 1,000 views. You still got 2,000 views.
Isn't that wild how people think that?
It still adds up,
if I
right?
put 1,000 people in a room and I told you to stand up on stage and look at him, you'd be shocked how many people there was. But for some reason, when people see 1,000 people on their views, they're like,
oh, it doesn't work.
It's not working.
So true.
I'm like,
still 1,000 eyeballs.
put 100 people in a room and stand in front of them.
Yeah.
2,000.
2,000 eyeballs.
Yeah.
Maybe 1,999.
Yeah, there's going to be
So
someone.
one guy's gonna have a
So
fucked up
you guys
eye.
is the eyeball thing.
No, statistically, one out of 1,000 people
We'll have something
one
wrong.
eye.
America
with
can
an
hear
eye.
you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that stat is totally made up for those listening. Just made that up.
Well, we start with we didn't just make it up right now. This was the thesis for the original Commerce Roundtable.
You're right.
In San Diego, that
Right.
someone was going to be missing an eye
Yeah.
or have an eye
There
impediment.
were 799 eyes.
799.
But I don't know if I met anyone without an eye. I think we might have had
That
a
one
thing.
guy.
That one guy.
They may have not seen us.
Cha-cha-ching. All right. Amara, what about you, man? Like standing on the outside and watching a lot of brands and working with a lot of founders, if you were to tell someone they wanted to get more into content marketing, invest into their future, where are you recommending right now?
I'm gonna position this from content marketing, from controlling the narrative. I think one channel that is absolutely overlooked by the ecom community, Reddit. A ton of people, like if you start looking for things, they will say, so they'll do searches so and so Reddit. And what Google has been doing too, they've been pushing Reddit higher.
They have a partnership with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going higher in results. So like one of the first things people actually see, in addition to your Google reviews and everything like that, is actual dialogue between customers or prospects on Reddit boards. And when you go in there, in majority of them, there's no brand participation. When somebody complains about something, nobody goes in there and has a conversation with somebody. Oh, we're so sorry you had a bad experience. Please email us. Let's talk about it. So I think that's like one big one, like for more like immediate.
Google still needs to fix the way they're treating that content, because there's still stuff that'll show first page, second page. It's like 7 years old, 9 years old with no
I need a relevance test.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That will still populate.
Yeah.
But the thing is one of the reasons it also populates, and I don't know if this is the case for everyone, is because the brand is also not pushing you content on Reddit. So you have this most active or most posts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it's a chat
that's
room,
a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one. Another one that it's a little bit funny to me because I made a post about it last night. All these people are talking about how ChatGPT is going to take over Shopify's transactions, and if you're not on there, you're going to go out of business, blah, 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 blah. We're way too early for that. But I do think there is something here, and I'll speak from an agency side. When you go to ChatGPT, when you go to Gemini and all of these platforms, you ask them, which agency would you recommend for a Shopify build? You get different answers every time. Now, the human behavior has a lot to catch up with ChatGPT and adoption of how the search is going to look. But what I'm relating it to, everyone kind of said the same things about Google in the beginning. And once Google figured out algorithm and started serving people correctly, the people who already started thinking about that had a head start. So I think what people need to sit down and start looking into is like, hey, what are the things that ChatGPT and whomever is valuing? What are they looking?
Saying please and thank you.
Yeah, or run up the bill.
Trust the overlord.
But the best way to do is like when somebody gives you a recommendation, ask the AI, where did you get your sources for this recommendation from? Sometimes they'll do like clutch reviews or whatever the case is. That means they're looking at third-party review data to recommend agencies or products, whatever the case is. You need to get a head start on there because all of these other alternatives may get recommended instead of you, and ChatGPT or whomever is going to become the top 3 above the 4 results.
I would also argue that when you're going down the AI rabbit hole and talking to these platforms, make sure you're taking the bias of them knowing that it's you out of the equation, because they'll present it in a way sometimes when they know that it's you.
100%. And I mean, the easiest way is to frame the question, but you don't have to log in. Now they allow guest searches as well.
I didn't know that, right?
Yeah. You can do like a guest request.
So you don't think
and
they
it's
know
like
your device and everything else already?
Is it treated like a Google incognito?
Well, I don't know.
I doubt it. Incognito is still not fingerprint proof. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that there'll be a lot of we need to go through a lot of changes with AI, right? Like, there's going to be farms that are out there that are like pumping product, like pushing narratives into the LLMs and different things that are happening. It's just going to take time. Yeah. We're still at such an early AI evolution boom right now that this stuff is going to be gamified. People are going to trick it. Do you remember Google? Penguin, elephant. I don't remember all the names anymore, but they come back every couple of years and destroy entire businesses because they launch a brand new update for their SEO programs. Same stuff's going to happen for AI. It has.
I mean, a restriction and regulation, in my opinion, pushes innovation.
Yeah,
because then
of
people
course.
want to get around.
Unless it's overregulated.
Yeah,
which is part of the problem, right? This is one of the things that come into play. So I do think that what the real answer that I think about as I hear you guys, what I'm taking from it, just know your audience, find where your audience lives and use that channel. Even if that audience, your audience isn't changing over the next 18 months in most cases, just focus on where they live. And we have a great pod coming up around generational stuff that we'll talk a lot about this stuff. But with that being said, we're shifting gears here, and we are jumping to Brian's buy or sell game. Where Brian will tell us about a statement, and we will either buy or sell with a short response. With that, Brian, the meat guy.
So welcome to the version.
It's been a while.
It's been. I tell you what, folks. Picture how long it's been. So I'm gonna be quite frank with you guys here. Number one, I wrote this buy or sell game on the bootstrapping episode. So just gonna get that off my chest right now. Just realized that.
Okay.
And I had some really good ones too. So I'm gonna do a mix of what I had in here for the bootstrapping, and then also a mix of paid and organic. Okay. Now, number one, we're gonna go bootstrapping. Brands have higher brand equity than brands that take on money.
False.
Bootstrapping brands.
Buy or sell, sir.
Sell.
He's not.
Yellow.
It's not false.
Purple.
What'd you say? False.
False.
You mean sell.
Sell.
Yeah. Sell.
You don't think they have higher brand equity than people that take on money?
No, I think it depends on the brand. I don't think that has any influence over one way or the other. You have companies that raise money to do tremendously well to build their value.
Brand out there,
Yeah. But then you also have brands that bootstrap, that control the narrative full on, take longer to build, but they become, I think, a brand that carries a lot more equity in their vertical compared to companies that raise money.
Yeah. I mean,
a great example from earlier, MailChimp. At one point, who was bigger than them in brand equity in email marketing?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. I think you could argue either side, but I'll go sell as well, just simply because you raise some money, you can sprinkle. and really make
Yeah,
the brand.
I think I buy and sell. I'm sort of in the middle on it.
Yeah, I sell too. I think that if you look at it, yes, there's some great bootstrap company, but they're way far and in between versus the ones that were funded through the journey.
All right, so for organic content marketing, you should hire an in-person social media manager to shoot and edit content before going offshore. Buy or sell? Perspective. Hire a Nina before you just send offshore content to edit and post. So have an in-house Nina before going offshore.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I think there's value.
I think there's value as well.
I mean, as an example, let's use the podcast as an example when we're talking about some of our short form content. A choke point for us a lot of times is that we don't have someone here capturing. So it's like, hey, can John remember to get a quick shot of us, or can Brian remember to get a video? Because we don't have that. I think there is tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I've suggested eventually if we can get enough things going,
we have someone.
We literally have someone follow us around and
there's
shoot.
value in it.
Yeah,
there's definitely
a lot of value.
A lot of that.
Bye. Yeah.
Amir?
I don't know. It's a tough one for me. Like,
sure.
This is not my expertise.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I would
speak.
say I sell that because I think I've seen creators that do that succeed by doing that. I think it's easier to test if that's going to work or not before you hire somebody that it will be. Especially it's hard for companies that are fully remote.
But I actually think, though, that's the wrong approach. Instead of going off and outsourcing it or even bringing someone else, it actually needs to be owned by somebody pretty high up to actually start setting,
That's what I mean.
setting the culture on it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no outsourcing this. This needs to be owned, and people need to understand if you're going to launch a growth channel, someone needs to learn it first before they hand it off.
Yeah, but if you're going to send it offshore, you got to create a content.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. All right, here we go. Posting daily is more important than putting out 1 or 2 great pieces of content a week.
Bye.
This is a tough one.
I'll actually go sell here.
This is a tough one.
But
we would get mixed up.
But I understand the thought process on buy. The reason why most people think that it's buy and you should post daily is because the reality is, until you're very dialed in on the brand, you don't necessarily know and have 100% accuracy on what the quality stuff is, right? Like BattleBox is an example. We're at this point, we're posting 2.2 times a day on average. And even though we know what our bangers are, we're always hungry and always trying to find the additional bangers. I think, at what point do you get to the Mr. Beast level where it's acceptable?
Yeah, that's true.
And I think, so sell that if you can hit the end goal, but we're a buy on it because we're not at that point. Yeah, we have millions of followers, but we're not at the point where we figured out where we're just the accurate. We can just throw bullseyes every time. We still don't have that.
Yeah, I think in like Jimmy's case, he can buy it now because of your knowledge.
I bought it from the beginning. You know why? Because I believe that the only way you learn what works is to get more consistency and more posts out there. If you spend too much time working on perfection and working on trying to find the right content, that's the wrong answer. What I want to do is I want to post a lot, even if no one's listening, until I find the things that work. And then I'm going to go lean and double down on those.
Yeah.
But also, you also know that we're talking about before, oh, well, why post on Instagram because you can get 1,000 views, or why do the LinkedIn because you can get 1,000 views only. But you know that you're getting those singles every time too.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's value.
There's value.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's mostly a buy, but I think you eventually hit a level where it's a sell.
Yeah.
But nobody hits that level.
All right, last one. You should invest in people to create better and more output in organic content over equipment. People over equipment. Buy or sell?
Buy.
All day.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. The equipment,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter anymore.
But a lot of my team is like, man, I need this, I need that, I need this equipment to be better. And it's a constant. It's a constant
so that's what it's like. Oh, like the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, the GoPros, the editing
Osmos.
equipment. Yeah, the Osmos is becoming popular. I think in that sort of the equipment aspect, it's something that can elevate once you have the.
I will say, remember at our shop talk one, even though Amir was a little shaky, it came out really nice.
Dude,
content.
I'm telling you, that wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, and that was just him on a Sony camera following us around.
Sound didn't work.
A camera versus if he would have walked on a camera on an iPhone, I think the quality was probably better.
Yeah.
And Amir's not a content creator.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
He's an aspiring film director, he said.
You're not a content creator? I would never have guessed.
No, he's not.
No, the other Amir.
Oh,
The real
My name is Amir. I mean,
his name is America, not America.
one year you will learn.
Even the rap says Amir, which I think is hilarious. Anyways,
those were my 4.
well, thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
You can get our buy or sell game, even though it was
buy or
mixed
sell.
up.
Yep.
Yeah, the buy or sell, the meat guy.
That was
Thank
pretty
you.
good on the spot questions, though.
Yeah,
All right.
that was good.
With that, folks, that's a wrap. Content marketing and e-commerce storytelling that sells. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and let us know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to awesomepod.com, sign up for commerceroundtable.com, do all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next pod.
Welcome to the Awesome Pod, where we talked a lot. E-com was the path that we walked a lot. But now the question is, will you subscribe or not?